I'm Sergio Sanchez, along with Tim Sullivan, our news director. The Valley's Morning News on 710 KURV, and we welcome to the show our new senator from Texas, Ted Cruz. Senator Cruz, good morning.
Good morning, Sergio. It's great to join you.
All right, so in this deep blue area of South Texas that you're visiting now for the first time, and by the way, thank you for your efforts to repeal Obamacare. But that effort's not going to be very popular with some of the Democrat leaders that you might be meeting with today. What do you think?
Well, I spent a lot of time down in the Valley during the campaign, and I tell you, I really felt incredibly fortunate to have a great deal of support throughout the Valley. And I think what South Texans and what all Texans are looking for more than anything else is economic growth, is jobs. Wherever I travel throughout the state of Texas, that's the consistent message I hear is that we want to get our economy booming again. We want an environment where small businesses can prosper. And Obamacare is the single biggest job killer in the country. And that's why I'm working very, very hard to defund it, to bring back jobs and economic growth for people who are struggling.
Yeah, joblessness has always been an issue here in deep South Texas. But also the reality is that this is probably the most uninsured area of the state, and Texas is the most uninsured state in the country. I suspect some of these leaders might be asking you for a plan B. What would you say to them if they ask you, so what's plan B after you repeal Obamacare?
Well, I think there's a lot of important health reform we can and should do, but I think the direction that health insurance reform needs to go is towards increasing competition and empowering patients and consumers rather than putting Washington bureaucrats in between you and your doctor. So what would that mean? I think the three most important reforms after Obamacare is repealed are, number one, we should allow people to purchase insurance across state lines. Right now it's illegal to do so. What that would enable is the creation of a 50-state national marketplace which would make it possible to purchase low-cost, catastrophic health insurance plans. The biggest barrier that people face to getting health insurance right now is the cost, and the costs are driven up by myriad regulations. If we had a national marketplace, health insurance would be much, much more accessible for those on limited budgets. Number two, we need to expand health savings accounts so that people can save in a tax-advantaged way to take care of prevention and more routine medical care. And number three, we need to work to delink health insurance from employment. And it's an historical accident that it's tied to employment. And right now, Sergio, if you or I lose our jobs, we don't lose our car insurance, our house insurance, our life insurance. There's no reason on earth you should lose your health insurance. And that goes a long, long way to solving the problem of pre-existing conditions, because if you change the federal tax treatment, we can make health insurance personal and portable, just like your car insurance. It goes with you regardless of what job you're in.
He will be visiting the Rio Grande Valley today, first time as senator, our new senator of Texas, Ted Cruz, joining us on 710 KURV.
Senator Tim Sullivan here. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Tim. It's great to join you.
As Sergio alluded to here, a lot of folks you will hear from in the Valley today will tell you that Obamacare would actually help the majority of the people in the Rio Grande Valley. Most people here are in favor of Obamacare. You're coming to an area pushing to defund a program that would actually help a lot of people get health care coverage for the first time in their lives.
Well, there are certainly some elected politicians in the Valley who are advocating that, and I think some people who have believed what they've been told. But what we have seen as Obamacare has begun to be implemented is this thing isn't working. And it's not just me who's saying it. Max Baucus, the Democratic senator who was the lead author of Obamacare, has publicly called it a, quote, huge train wreck. We're seeing the unions. James Hoffa, who's the president of the Teamsters, has publicly stated Obamacare is destroying the 40-hour work week that is the backbone of the American middle class. And what's happening in the Valley, and it's happening throughout the state, is, number one, more and more people are losing their jobs or not getting hired. Number two, more and more people are getting their hours forcibly reduced to 29 hours a week to get under the 30-hour Obamacare threshold. And we're seeing health insurance premiums rise dramatically. And all of that, Tim, hurts those who are struggling to climb the economic ladder. The people who have been hurt the most by Obamacare are young people, are Hispanics, are African Americans, are single moms, are those who are struggling to make ends meet, because when you drive up health insurance, when you limit jobs, when you shrink people's hours to 29 hours a week, they're the ones who are getting hurt. That's why we need to get back to something that works, that produces economic growth, that produces jobs.
Let me switch you to another topic, border security, for a moment. And
Sure.
you're a fiscal conservative. We all know that. Why would you want to spend, I guess, millions of dollars more on a project like the border fence when Border Patrol agents, CBP officials, will tell you that it hasn't really worked to stop illegal immigration or illegal drug trafficking to date?
Well, my touchstone for every issue is the Constitution, and I think the Constitution gives the federal government certain limited powers and responsibilities, and those responsibilities it should carry out well. With respect to border security is one of the responsibilities the federal government has, and it's not doing a good job right now. And I think most Texans, I think most Americans are frustrated that the federal government has not been able to secure our borders. And in the Valley, y'all are confronting the human tragedies that result from not enforcing the border. It's why I worked very hard in the Senate to introduce amendments to the immigration reform that actually would have fixed the problem. I think most Texans want to see the problem fixed. They, number one, want to see the border secured so that we prevent illegal immigration. But number two, we want to remain a nation that doesn't just welcome, but that celebrates legal immigrants, people who come here seeking the American dream. And I've worked very hard introducing amendments to fix the problem. On border security, I think the most important piece, technology matters a great deal, but the most important piece is boots on the ground. And so I introduced an amendment to triple the size of the Border Patrol and increase fourfold the helicopters and fixed-wing technology so that we can actually solve the problem. And then at the same time, I introduced other amendments to improve and expand and streamline legal immigration to make it easier to come here seeking the American dream.
I've got about 45 seconds left, Senator. Free trade and commerce, a major issue that local leaders view on a daily basis, the backlog of commercial trucks coming in from Mexico as part of NAFTA and all these multinational firms trying to send their stuff inland just in time, transportation. That will be one issue that they will likely be pressing you on considerably today to try to get more technology. And when you said boots on the ground, they want more blue uniforms to move that commerce securely into the U.S. as well.
Well, and I think that's a real priority. I am a huge advocate of free trade, and South Texas benefits enormously from robust trade with Mexico and across the globe, and I think the federal government needs to improve the job it's doing, facilitating that trade, securing the border, but also enabling commerce to flow freely because it produces jobs. 2.2 million jobs in the state of Texas depend upon international trade, and we need to grow that number.
Senator, welcome to the Valley. Thank you much for joining us on 710 KURV. Senator Ted Cruz joining us on the Valley's Morning News.